What's happening, everybody? Ian Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers, joined with my partner, Ryan Walsh, Hard Money Bankers. Ryan, what's going on? This is an interesting week. I think we just do a quick wrap up of the week. Anything special that you want to go over?
Yeah, I got my title for my show is Zillow earnings reports. Crap, and I have another one. Lions, Bears, and Tigers. Oh my. So yeah, I mean, I think that's basically the recap of the week. Is just those are the big things that came in.
Yeah.
You know what we haven't touched upon yet is also the Fed announcement that they're going to taper 15 billion a month. You know, I know it's out there, like people see that, but what does it mean? Like the market reacted to it for sure. But what does it mean? Does it impact real estate?
Right. So it's supposed to pull liquidity out of the market and then it'll raise the rates is really what's happening. So the question is, I think you posed it yesterday, which is what does $15 billion a month equate to? Is that like a drop in the bucket or is that like a big boy number? That'll really shift the markets. I've got to imagine. I mean, they're essentially reducing the financial easing, the fiscal easing that we've been receiving for the past decade. First time I think we've actually going to see this I don't remember the last time we had them tapering bonds. So it's a perfect time to, freeze up the liquidity in the market because we have inflation. It's supposed to head off inflation. That's really what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to put more money back. It's supposed to be, a better return on their investment for other countries to then invest in us because the rates go up and stuff like that. It's supposed to stop, slow down inflation. Are they too late? Probably. Is it probably by design? Probably. Because they're going to pull liquidity out of the market, which makes things harder to, money harder to get. Therefore, businesses have less capital to work with. Therefore, when they have a supply chain crunch and gas prices go up and they need to take out loans to borrow money to keep the business going, it's harder. So it's all just constricting, right now. It's just like wringing somebody around their neck. And all the pieces, this is like, the pieces are starting to move in the game that we're talking about played. Like that's one of the pieces that's going to be moving, and it's significant in terms of, it'll probably take 3 to 6 months for businesses and so forth to recognize it, like really be like, oh man, my business can't sustain this anymore. Right. So it takes a little time to bleed out, but that's probably also going to be in the middle of supply chain issues and mandate issues. So this mandate thing, you see this, I mean, everybody. So I knew the mandate thing was coming. I didn't realize that. I just assumed that everybody knew, but this was new to you that yesterday.
I didn't know there was a federal mandate. I heard of California, I heard talks at New York. Well, no, I mean, New York had certain mandates. And when we say mandates, we're referring to the vaccine mandate.
Yeah.
I did not realize there's a federal level into the private sector as well, which really.
Right. So any business over 100 employees, they have to get it. See, I thought it was already implemented though, because all of a sudden those test sites that are around started to get a whole lot of traffic. So I thought it was already implemented. So I'm not really sure what I missed there.
I think government workers had to.
Just government workers at that time.
And I also think a lot of companies were openly participating in it, but I didn't think it was a federally mandate basically.
Right.
That was my understanding. So yeah, that's what was news for me. And I think a lot of people were like, oh shit, what?
Yeah. Well, and then they're going to, my question was, how are they going to, put this in play? You need infrastructure to do this. They're going to use OSHA, which is really designed as a, workplace to protect the employees, structure, a federal structure. So they're going to use OSHA, but I was like, there's no way they have enough people with OSHA. But I won't doubt that they're going to put in the debt ceiling bill or one of these bills coming up, infrastructure building, which I guarantee would then just flood OSHA with money to, build out their infrastructure. Because I don't think they're big enough of an organization to oversee something like that. Other than if they're not going to build the infrastructure out, it's just going to be a total empty threat. I just saw a headline that the governor of Florida, everybody knows him, everybody's gonna be trying to get him to run for president, if you're in that world. But where does it say Florida governor? So DeSantis is announcing a lawsuit against the unconstitutional employee vaccine mandate. So I think you're going to see a lot of states right now pushing back against this. So you're going to have some real political turmoil. And again, these are the pieces that were in place. The teams were drafted, governors won, governors lost. All right, who's going to do the lawsuits? Who's going to do this? Like it's all part of it. It's all part of it, right? So Tuesday really was the kickoff, and now this week was the kickoff, and now we're running.
Got a comment on my show. So we're running 2 streams, just so everyone aware. I got mine going. Ian has his. I got a comment from mine from Chris Klug, who did not see the show yesterday, but the gentleman we were discussing saying sharing information on how processes are made and with the sand. He is watching. He gave us the piggies. He gave us piggies. That's what we got from Chris today.
Thank you for those piggies. Highly contributive, and actually, Klug was the guy we were talking about yesterday. Is that what you're saying? You were saying how he was like literally like having to send to his, his. I guess the people would say, "Hey, this is why supply chain doesn't work," or "This is how you're not going to solve this." Google, and he would send it to him, and then they were still like flabbergasted, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is a problem." So. If that's where we are in the solution process. So I was just looking at the this chart. This is another REIT. It's WPC. It's a weekly. WPC is like a single tenant warehouse, so like warehouses, big trucking companies and stuff like that. This would be their where they would probably fall under. So
is this like Amazon? Where they're going to store things for shipping and things like that?
I don't know if Amazon itself falls in here, but similar in terms of the nature of the types of tenants that would fall into this company's portfolio. So the obvious scenario here is we broke a pretty big trend line. This is actually in that kiss of death territory in its own right? So
its own kiss of death, or the same one from...
No. It's its own kiss of death because it's not at all-time highs. It never made the recovery that we kind of talked about yesterday, which is like up here, So it just kind of did like a weak trend up, broke this trend line.
That's another real estate stock that we're seeing is not quite matching the Dow, the DJ, right? In terms of DJ's at all-time high, it broke that upper line you broke. This is another real estate stock that didn't quite get there yet.
Yeah. So, and I don't know that it's going to. So Knives Chris just asked, are you guys looking up WPC right now? Yeah, this is it right now. So this is the weekly chart though. So it's it's a slow moving beast. But the real question is going to become, does it go and take out this high right here and then go to all time highs after just breaking a major trend line? Because if it doesn't, you're really going to have to dabble. This is your next area of concern. Followed by this.
And what made you draw those? Just because of the big red bars?
Just a lot of screen time over the years. Like just knowing where there's a lot of positions sitting. I don't really have a good answer for that other than these are the good places where people are going to you're going to look for, there's going to be reactions in those areas for sure. And, the markets each time one of those gets penetrated or bounced on, it's going to be in a situation where,
something's going on,
and if it doesn't rally through there, if it goes through it, it's a bearish. It's more bear momentum, building. If it goes back up, it's more bull momentum building. So I would say all in all, though, just like yesterday's, we're kind of right now in a holding pattern. A little bit of a bearish holding pattern. The only reason I say bearish holding pattern is because we broke the bullish trend line, but it's really just a little bit more sideways with a lean to the bear side. So again, as the pieces come out over the next month or two, I think coming into the end of the year, it's really going to be a treat for everyone here. And by treat, I mean not a treat. So
yeah, I think what's going on with real estate is, back in 2008, it was kind of the lead of the crash, right? Real estate's almost like following the market, waiting to see what's going to happen before it's decided. And that's why I think it hasn't quite hit all-time highs like the rest of the market has. But I think if the all-time highs holds, we're also going to see real estate trickle there, over the next several months. But all it takes is one thing here to start going south, and we'll see real estate follow.
Right. So I don't really have much else on this week. So I'm just trying to see if there's any other news headlines out here. Joe Rogan starts accepting Bitcoin. That's cool.
Well, yeah, he took $100,000 as salary from which. So essentially, he took like one Bitcoin, maybe two Bitcoin as payment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but this is in addition to his,
$100 million contract.
$100 million cash that he's getting. So I guess I don't really know how. I don't know how anyone found that out, and then B, I don't really know how it became news.
It's news. The other thing that I saw this just casually glancing through, which I think becomes another. So global food prices hit fresh decade high in October. So that's, inflation and supply chain issues. Like, I think I saw yesterday, I saw a post by a guy that was on my in my Facebook news feed that had a pound of regular steak. Now I don't know where it was, but it was like at some grocery store for $23. And I was like, is that grass? That better be grass fed. Because $23 is like 4 times the price of steak in terms of, what you'd be paying for like premium steak that's not grass fed, like, grain fed steak. So, and it didn't look like it was grass fed. So I was like, like as that stuff starts to creep up, as your, when milk becomes $15 a gallon, it like that kind of stuff really is what hits home. And you go, that's the stuff where you can't feed people, you can't feed your kids or something. People start to, but we've been talking about this now for 2 months. So as it starts to hit, it's just a slow process. Like it's just a slow unfolding. And I say slow, I mean like over a few months. When you look back, you're like, that happened really quick. But
yeah, I mean, I that's why I keep saying it. We're going to keep doing this show until that issue is resolved, because what's going to happen is those prices keep going up. Right now, everyone, you're seeing it. You can make funny posts on Facebook because you're assuming it's going to be gone and resolved in like another month or two.
Yeah, right.
But once, like, you haven't adjusted your budget yet, right? It's people who are like, man, okay, well, since I got to spend $15 on milk here, maybe I'll spend $5 less on soda, right? But it's still not enough to upset people's lifestyles. But you do this for a couple months, and it's not going away. And now all those things that like you wanted to get before, you can't get. Now you're starting to get pissed off, right? It's got to get resolved. If it doesn't get resolved, I think 2022 is going to be real interesting unless.
Oh yeah, I didn't put that up yet. That was good.
2022, part 2. And Chris, we are actually sharing kind of what you were saying with like, Q4 might still have okay reports here. But Q1, he just put it. Q1 2022 is going to be, in his words, a shit show, right? A bloodbath. I think at this current trajectory, with what's going on with supply chain and inflation, it's going to come to a head around that timeline, unless something changes between now and then. I hope it does, right? I hope we're not spending $20 for a gallon of milk or gas, right? But I don't think $15 billion tapering from the Fed is going to stop that in the next 3 to 4 months.
No, and I also think that, you're looking at a situation. So people are going to freak out about these mandates. So you're going to have even more people quitting their jobs. So then as you're quitting your jobs, you're tightening your purse strings. Food cost is going up. Gas is going up. So like they're going in the opposite directions, income versus, expenses. So it's a squeeze and people are going to get angry. And that's, first quarter of next year. I think it'll start to show its head here over the next month, though. I think it's gonna like start moving the market here over the next month.
Yeah, I like Chris's comment here. Everyone's Q1 earnings are going to be, oh wow, everyone bought what they wanted, and in Q4 2021, and we didn't deliver anything in Q1. Whoops, right? Like that.
I mean, that's like me just going out here and being like, it's just an empty promise, a giant empty promise. Yep. I'm going to sell you this giant piece of real estate for $100 million. You send me the $100 million, and then I tell you we're not closing. But I still have your $100 million.
And I still have your 100. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the problem. Wow, that's a big IOU, right?
I mean, it's like when COVID hit, and we had things out at what the boats. cruise. Sorry, my blank. Right, and all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Hey, can I have my money back for the cruise that I paid for and you can't deliver now?" And that was a fiasco. Fortunately, the market came back, and they're like, "Okay, we can give everyone their money back." But if the market doesn't come back, people aren't getting their money back.
You were gone. Yeah, so I can't imagine like the net 60, net 90 companies right now that are like doing that. Oh my gosh, like it's just a big fat IOU across the board. It's like Dumb and Dumber, right? Like when Harry opens his briefcase and it's like, you might want to hold on to this one. It's like the Lamborghini or whatever. Yeah, that's what. So we're just gonna look at that like a national, international level. Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I will catch up Monday, see what happens. Watch for news over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know of any big items that we're tracking for next week. I feel like the big ones all ended this week.
I think anything at this point will be surprise items. So fantastic.
Yep. Cool. Stay tuned. Watch the news, everyone. Alrighty.
All right. Later.
That's it.